Hello YouTubers, this is Jim. I'm going to be attempting a spark plug change in my 2005 Dodge Ram 5.7 Hemi, and this is the one that has the 16 spark plugs, and the hard to get to ones behind in the back there on the right side, or excuse me, that would be the left side I guess. But the first thing I guess I'll point out is maybe a few of the tools that we might need for the job. Gonna need a 10mm socket, and that 10mm socket is going to be for these two bolts to take off this cap, this one right here, and then there's another one over here on this side, right over there above the engine oil filler cap, and then we'll wiggle that off. And then of course you'll need some extensions, a swivel, standard 1/2" socket ratchet will do, along with a 5/8 spark plug socket, and of course that's the one that has the little rubber grommet inside that will actually grab onto the socket, and it won't fall out that way. It'll make it easier to pull them in and put them in and pull them back out again. And you'll need a gapper. I like these type. For my 05 it's a 0.44 gap. You'll need some silicone grease in order to, you put it up here on the ceramic part. That'll make it a little easier to pull off the spark plug. And then also some anti-seize in order to put that on the threads of the socket, and that way it'll be easier to pull out in 30,000 more miles. This is actually the first spark plug change that this truck will have, although it's an 05 and this is 2014 and most 05s have a lot more miles on it than that. This one only has 34,000 miles on it, and it has not been done yet. So I'm going to try it myself because the dealer wants too much and I like to save a little bit of money. So of course I had to buy 16 spark plugs, which I've never had to do before. For all of my other cars, 8 was enough, just like that show. So another essential is going to be 2 bottles of Bud Light. Actually, maybe 3 because one of them's already gone almost. And you don't want to drink too much of that, because the more you drink of that, the less you will care about this, and that may not be good. So keep it within reason. Okay, in the list of parts, I forgot, you will also need a screwdriver in order to take the clamp off. We'll take that clamp off first. Pull that back. 10-inch socket. The first one off here. I might be taking my hat off. I might be going with the cold air intake. I have not decided yet. I did put the dual exhaust on this truck. And now we'll take this sensor off, put the screwdriver on there, pop it right off, and then we'll pull this off on the other side. Now as you can see, each one of these has 2 spark plugs. One of them is free on my truck, and then the other one, it takes 2 10mm bolts, one down here and one up here, and you take those off in order to access the spark plugs. Now someone on YouTube posted an idea that I thought was pretty good. I forget who it was. I like watching these videos too, and that's why I'm doing one as well. But their idea was to start on the most difficult side to get it done first, because that's always nice to know that you got the hard part done instead of running out of steam early. But they also pointed out to do the easiest one on the most difficult side first, because then you can get a hang of it, what you're doing, on the easy one. So that made a lot of sense, and obviously I've never done this before on this truck, so I'm going through this with you for the first time. For the second one, put a little extension on there. Let's pull this off and see what we got. I'll lay that one aside. I did not get new spark plug wires. Take the first one off and see what it looks like. And I'm thinking there's probably Champions in here, because since they haven't been changed and the factory apparently uses Champion. So you gap a plug if you haven't done that before. You just have to make sure that that correct one fits in there perfectly. Things like this is what take a while. Probably do this job quite a bit quicker if everything was prepared ahead of time. Things like this I probably should have done last night at the kitchen table or something. That looks pretty good. It just barely goes in there and snug. 0.44. So I like that. The rubber glove. Just a dab of silicone. On there. Set that aside. Just gonna rub that on there a little bit. Doesn't take much at all. Put a little bit of this anti-seize on the threads. Okay, put that first plug in the hole and start it up. Get the threads started on it. And I'm going to snug this down. Okay, number 2 is out. I'll work on it, and I'll try to videotape that last one, the booger bear one, to get to way back there to see if I can come up with any helpful hints while I'm working on that. Okay, for number 3 guy here, I'm going to go ahead and take the bottom one off first, and I'm just using no extension on this one. Reaching back here, I'm just I'm standing on a little stool in order to, and just kind of leaning across the front of the truck to reach this. While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and reach that very back one, very back one, and loosen it up if I can. See if I can get on that with the video camera too, from under here. Yeah, there we go. So let's just get on that very back bolt that's on the bottom. That's the very back one. Once I loosen up that bolt, I'm just reaching back here with my hands, my fingers, and loosening that bottom one. As you can tell, I am kind of tackling these back two simultaneously a little bit. I got working on that back bolt and decided to get the top one too. Yeah, this little one, as you can see, there's a lot more room to work with it. It doesn't go up against the back, the firewall or whatever it's called back there, and just a lot easier to get on with this little one, I'm finding. So I got both of those back ones loose. I'm going to go ahead and loosen this one too while I'm here. On the third one back. So what I'm finding already is it's not that difficult to get to these, to loosen them up and take them off. Swivel and one of those short extensions in order for my ratchet to fit under there to turn these two. And just to loosen them up a little bit, loosen it by finger. There it is. And it's out. Let's pop the back one off. See how hard this is. Just reach back in there. Pop the first one out. Get that out of the way a little bit. Reach back in here and pop that one out. Not too bad. Okay, we're on the very back one. Put a socket down there. Oh yeah, that's not bad. Get it broken loose. Yeah, should do it. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest by hand. Well, this very back one actually doesn't, to me, seem as bad as the one that's directly under the brakes. At least there's a little bit more room to work on top of it. And neither one of them are really bad, just a little time consuming. Turn that puppy out of there and pull the plug out. And the very back one, real similar to the one right next to it. Ratchet goes on it fine. There she goes. Just to show you how I'm getting back in there a little bit, I've got this step, whatever, well, ramp, car ramp, that I'm using as a stepping stool in order to elevate myself a little bit. And then I just put an old pair of coveralls over the edge here, and they're just kind of laying across the top. And just in doing that, it's not too bad. Here's the back plug, for example. Let's put it in. Tighten it up a little bit. Do not have to bring it to the dealership and pay a bunch of money for this. Snug that up a little bit. I went ahead and put the back one on. Popped it right on. It was real easy. And again, I just used a short little extension to get on there and finger tighten the bolts to put this back on. Okay, I got the rough side done. I'm about an hour and 15 minutes into the project, but I had to leave a couple of times, answer the phone and get a third beer. I would estimate I probably spent an hour and 10 minutes on this side. And I'm going to go ahead and get started on the other side. I think I'll go ahead and remove the box there, that air breather box. There is a little obstacle here, but it doesn't look like it's anything that's going to be in the way significantly. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen all the bolts and get this side started. It's really nice to have the hard part done, that's for sure. Well, this side's coming along real good. I didn't record much of it. The very back one, pretty easy, just different size extensions to maneuver in there. This next one here, second in the back, was super easy, as is this one as well. So it looks like the rest of the job's going to be a piece of cake, and I should be done in about 5 minutes or so. Okay, it's done. This side was much easier. A little bit of an obstacle here, but it's fine. I just kind of work around it a little bit as I'm tightening and loosening the bolts up. So this side took me about 30 minutes. I wasn't really hurrying, and it wasn't difficult at all. So I think while I'm in here, I'm going to go ahead and clean out the throttle body a little bit. A little bit of this throttle body air and intake cleaner. Okay, finished. I went ahead and buckled it all back up again to document the miles. We've got, if that's showing up or not. Got one more tip to point out here.